Okay, so in the second of our short interviews with photographers at the Canon Pro Solution Show 2011 is a friend to Hungry Eye magazine, without any doubt. A lot of people may have seen his films, the Dench shorts, certainly breaking new ground in filmmaking. You may be reading his diary, the Dench Diary, the diary of a sometime working pro. You may also know him from his award-winning photography. But without a doubt, he is Peter Dench. Welcome, Peter.
Thank you, Grant. Good to be here a year later.
Indeed, we were here about exactly a year ago, doing something similar, sitting down with not a lot to talk about as usual, and talking for a long time.
And what a difference a year makes, Grant.
Indeed.
I'll tell you what difference it makes. Absolutely none. Nothing's changed. I still have not a lot to talk about, and no money in the bank, Grant. But
But
it's a long play, isn't it?
It is a long play, but you have embraced filmmaking.
It's embraced me, yeah, out of necessity, really. We discussed briefly once. I was offered a 5-day commission from an Australian newspaper, and which was delightful. The fee was good, and at the end of the conversation they said, "And of course, we'd like you to shoot some video." And I said, "Not a problem," because in my head I thought I'd just get an assistant to come along and shoot it, and I'll sort of oversee it. But they wanted to see evidence of my video work, and there wasn't any. So I missed out on that job. So
you actually you lost the job because you couldn't shoot the video,
yeah,
and yet they loved your photography.
Yes, and I can't afford to lose work, and that was about 4 months ago, and I've got a job booked on the 9th of November.
Right.
That I got because I have been shooting video since. So in a short space of time, it's starting to pay back, I suppose.
And how did the Dench shorts come about? How did that actually? Because if anybody hasn't seen them, you feature in them quite often. They're very short, funny little bits of filmmaking, but they're very true to your photography.
I'm here to amuse, aren't I, Grant? Yeah, how did they come about? Because it was Simon Roberts, actually, the photographer, who suggested it. I was at an exhibition opening. He'd read the Dench Diary, and he said, "What's next? Dench TV." And I thought, yes, why haven't I thought of that? So I supply these video updates of where I am in the world, and generally I appear in front of the camera from time to time because there's no one else there. It is me, my tripod.
And you're often asking passers-by to work the camera for you as well.
Yeah, Chris Floyd mentioned previously that it is quite a solitary pursuit, photography, and filmmaking can't be that. So you do need help, you do need people to push your buttons. And I like strangers to do that for me. So wherever I am in the world, I try and make it an all-encompassing sort of adventure for myself and for the subject that I'm filming and photographing.
And where does the inspiration come from? Because they're very concisely edited. I'd like to think that they were very well organised before you actually start filming them, but I get the feeling maybe not.
I was sort of put off video because the protectors of the genre kept telling me how expensive it was. And you need thousands and thousands of pounds worth of kit and equipment. And then I talked to a photographer like Marcus Bleasdale, who's shooting video in the middle of the Congo. It's taken him 8 days to get to where he needs to get to. And he's not fussing about equipment and cost. He's keeping it very simple: tripod, mic, camera. So I took inspiration from that and just thought, well, I've got to get on with it. So the first Dench shorts were a bit shabby.
Yeah,
I'd say, because that was I don't read instruction booklets. I don't read technical articles. I know we're at the Canon Pro Solution Show, but it's not my bag. You always say you get into photography because you either like girls or you like kit.
Yeah.
And I'm not so keen on kit.
No, I think we're both in the same area on that one.
So I learn on a need-to-know basis. So that's where the quality comes from. But I quite like that sort of guerrilla tactic to filmmaking. I mean, I have got another. I mean, it seems a bit shabby calling them films because they're not, they're not hour and a half long masterpieces. But I've made a proper film that's 3 minutes 19 seconds to show I can understand the editing process and, dialogue and setting things up. But I kind of, if you read you better read the diary. You're my editor.
Dense diaries in the magazine.
If you read
every
the diary
month.
in the magazine, it is quite chaotic, and I like the dense shorts to reflect that.
But they have a kind of cinema verite kind of appeal, because quite often completely non-related items appear, or film footage that we're not quite sure where it's come from or why you've shot it.
Well, this is the brilliant thing about making them is, the Dench diary for me is about the imprint diary, is about the moments between taking the photographs. The reason I wanted to do it was, as photographers, you always read of other people's success, the awards they've won, the projects they're having exhibited, the prizes. And I was thinking, well, what do they do for the other 300 days of the year? So the diary is the moments between the photography.
Yeah.
The struggles, the lows, the chasing money, the desperation almost of trying to make things work. And with film, with the dense shorts, I can get a bit more of my frame of mind into that, I think. So rather than talking about what a brilliant shoot I've just had, I can show what's happening in my head a bit clearer, and that's usually drink related or rhythmic gymnastics related at the moment, which is a fascination that I never knew I had.
Indeed, which is a surprise that rhythmic, if I can even say it, gymnastics and ballroom dancing are two areas where you do specialise.
Yeah, but they're things that I've always photographed. I like shiny things, and that's been evident since my youth. And the flawless beauty of rhythmic gymnastics, I think, needs to be recognised more widely than it is. So that's my passion for the next.
Well, certainly the film you made at the Get Show Photo Festival features that.
It does. So you can the beauty of making the dense short films is you can just drop in sort of. We all stride across the world. Random thoughts, inspiration comes from lots of places. And it could be anything. The smell of the woman in front of you in the queue, or a dropped piece of food on the pavement, and that all feeds us as filmmakers and photographers. So, if something's relevant to the frame of mind that I'm in and the process that I'm going through, I'll drop that into the video.
And are you finding that the filmmaking is actually reflecting in the way in which you take photographs? Is there a sort of symbiotic relationship going on there that one's inspiring the other?
Perhaps, yeah. I've shot stills for 12 years, and you can revisit stills projects with video. So, I've photographed at the ballroom dancing finals on 3 occasions, but this time I went back and only shot video, and it was a different discipline, but a thoroughly enjoyable one as well. And they're working in tandem, I think. It's still quite a learning process. It still takes time for me to flick from one to the other. I mean, even a dense short might take 3 hours to sort of get together.
And a few of them last longer than a minute, I would have thought, a minute to 2 minutes.
Well, they call me the Minute Man.
The Minute Man.
So they don't. I just call myself.
No, you just made that up, didn't you? You completely just made that up.
It only takes a minute, girl.
Right. We'll move on.
Fall in love.
We'll indeed.
Yeah.
Have you found, are there particular areas that you've struggled with the filmmaking? Have you had problems with audio, or? I know initially when you first sent me the films, compression was definitely a concern because it came through looking like an illustration.
A watercolour, wasn't it? An impressionist painting.
An impressionist video making.
Well, that was just because, for your benefit. I didn't want to clog up your inbox. So now I know that you can upload a 290 meg video to Vimeo and embed the link
Yeah.
That's good to know. So,
But it is these little simple things, actually, that they're little stepping stones, aren't they, as you're going forward? Because
Yeah.
just that thing about Vimeo suddenly made everything easier for you.
We're losing an audience member, Grant. We're
But
down. We're
not-
a man down.
Not online. We'll keep going, and we'll be fine.
We're down to 360 now. I
Indeed.
think, so.
So where is this going to take you now? The Dent shorts appear on the Hungry Eye magazine, and I know I think you're showing them to clients as well. I mean, it's starting to build a bit of a show reel.
Yeah, I've got a friend I often mention in the Dench Diary, the international thriller writer Tom Knox, sort of a very, very successful man, and he's keen to get on board with the filmmaking. So we've done a proposal for Channel 4
Have you?
for an hour-long documentary.
Featuring you?
No, it'll be, it'll be featuring England, but people will explain themselves where we are rather than there being a presenter. There might be a voiceover from him because he's got that experience. So we're trying that. I've got a commercial agent who's trying to get the advertising industry,
Which is a big step forward from last year.
on board. Yeah, since winning second place in the World Photography Awards advertising in 2010, I haven't had one advertising job. So well, that's a lesson for award winners out there. It's not going to come unless you back it up with some new initiatives. So so it's all coming together. I'm getting more work that requires video.
You don't want to
we'll
get
see.
too much work, though, because the diary is going to fall apart if suddenly you become a leading, successful, working
I checked
everyday
my bank balance
photographer.
this morning and I had £3.73 in there. So I don't think there's going to be plenty of woe coming your way in the Dench Diaries in the foreseeable future, Grant.
But I think also I have to, and I often say this to you, I admire your honesty, because we are in an industry where that honesty is quite rare, because there's a lot of face you have to show to the clients to buy into. But you are incredibly honest about what you do, and I think it's really it's important for other people to read it, and they can actually feel the same. Maybe they're going through the same kind of situation.
Yeah, I still have to edit bits of my life, Grant.
Oh, yeah, I know.
There's a Dench after dark, waiting for the right moment. If anything ever happens to my family, then perhaps one day that can.
The
be
director's
unleashed.
cut sits somewhere on your hard drive.
So I've lost my thread there. What are we talking about?
The fact that you're really honest about the
okay.
diary, and I think you have developed a real following for the diary and for what you do, and I think it's very, very refreshing. And I'm saying this as a compliment.
Right. Yeah, it might be too honest though, because sometimes, I mean, we as Chris Floyd again mentioned in the previous interview, we put ourselves out there as Twitterers and Facebookers and diarists, etc. And it can backfire quite extraordinary, because then people think they get you. And I've had people that, I'm a photographer, I'm a professional, I am quite serious about my art, despite the turbulence I often give off.
Yeah.
But then some people want to meet me just to get drunk.
Right.
And
how could they get that impression?
There has to be a purpose to it, Grant. There has to be. I work on a guilt reward system, so there's no point not being creative and then just being a drunk.
No.
You have to achieve something worthwhile and then reward yourself with a bottle of Harvey's Bristol Cream or something. But sometimes people decide what they want from what they want to take from me, I guess. And a lot of them just decide that that's the adventure they want to go on. So
they're living your life vicariously.
yeah, I had an assistant once who just thought that we would go to the pub.
Right.
But there was actually a job to do, which came as a bit of a surprise. So.
Well,
But I think we have to be honest. I mean, why? There's so many. You see the Americans with their inbred positivity, and I've never had that. Well, I'm positive about being honest.
right.
Yeah.
Peter, as always, a rambling conversation which is full of little nuggets and gems, I hope.